from Psalm number 30. I will extol you, O Lord, for you have drawn me up and did not let my foes rejoice over me. O Lord my God, I cried to you for help, and you have healed me. O Lord, you brought up my soul from Sheol, restored me to life from among those gone down to the pit. Sing praises to the Lord, O you his faithful ones, and give thanks to his holy name, for his anger is but for a moment. His favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may linger for the night, but joy comes with the morning. As for me, I said in my prosperity, I shall never be moved. By your favor, O Lord, you have established me as a strong mountain. You hid your face. I was dismayed. To you, O Lord, I cried, and to the Lord I made supplication. What profit is there in my death if I go down to the pit? Will the dust praise you? Will it tell you of your faithfulness? Hear, O Lord, and be gracious to me. O Lord, be my helper. You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have taken off my sackcloth and clothed me with joy, so that my soul may praise you and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give thanks to you forever. Our second reading is from the books of Acts, chapter 9, verses 1 through 20. Meanwhile, Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogues at Damascus, so that if he found any who belonged to the way, men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. Now as he was going along and approaching Damascus, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? He asked, Who are you, Lord? The reply came, I am Jesus, who you are persecuting. But get up and enter the city, and you will be told what you are to do. The men who were traveling with him stood speechless because they heard the voice but saw no one. Saul got up from the ground, and though his eyes were open, he could see nothing. So they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. For 3 days he was without sight and neither ate nor drank. Now there was a disciple in Damascus named Ananias. The Lord said to him in a vision, Ananias, he answered. Ananias, he answered, Here I am, Lord. The Lord said to him, Get up and go to the street called Straight, and at the house of Judas, look for a man of Tarsus named Saul. At this moment he is praying, and he has seen a vision. A man named Ananias came in and laid his hands on him, so that he might regain his sight. But Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard from many about this man, how much evil he has done to your saints in Jerusalem. And here he has authority from the chief priests to bind all who invoke your name. But the Lord said to him, Go, for he is an instrument whom I have chosen to bring before Gentiles and kings and before the people of Israel. I myself will show him how much he must suffer for the sake of my name. So Ananias went and entered the house. He laid his hands on Saul and said, Brother Saul, the Lord Jesus, who appeared to you on your way here, has sent me to you that you may regain your sight and be filled with the Holy Spirit. And immediately something like scales fell from his eyes, and his sight was restored. Then he got up and was baptized, and after taking some food, he regained his strength. For several days he was with the disciples in Damascus, and immediately he began to proclaim Jesus in the synagogue, saying, He is the Son of God. Our gospel reading is from the book of John, chapter 21, verses 1 through 19. After these things, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias, and he showed himself in this way. Gathered there together were Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 others of his disciples. Simon Peter said to them, I am going fishing. They said to him, We will go with you. They went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Just after daybreak, Jesus stood on the beach, but the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to them, Children, you have no fish, have you? They answered him, No. He said to them, Cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they cast it, and now they were not able to haul it in because there were so many fish. That disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on some clothes, for he was naked, and jumped into the sea. But the other disciples came in the boat, dragging the net full of fish, for they were not far from land, only about 100 yards off. When they had gone ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there, with fish on it and bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish that you have just caught." So Simon Peter went aboard and hauled the net ashore, full of large fish, 153 of them. And though there were so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." Now none of the disciples dared to ask him, "Who are you?" because they knew it was the Lord. Jesus came and took the bread and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the third time that Jesus appeared to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. When they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." And a second time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter felt hurt because he had said to him the third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep. Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you used to fasten your own belt and to go wherever you wished. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will fasten a belt around you and take you where you do not want to go." He said this to indicate the kind of death by which he would glorify God. After this, he said to him, "Follow me." This ends our reading for today.
So how are we all doing this morning? Ready to work? Yep. Okay. Yep. That's true. And a lot of people staring at me like I'm nuts. Savage. Wow! Did I get it? Yep. Thank you. Do one series and I'm going to pay for it forever, aren't I? He's just handing it back as I hand it to him all the time. We have a wonderful morning this morning. Because one of the things that we get to see is that we are all worthy of serving God. We start with the psalm. And when you listen to this psalm this morning, it's all about calling out to God. Heal me, help me, strengthen me. And we get to the end of the psalm, and it talks about dancing and rejoicing with God. And I want you to keep that idea of dancing and rejoicing in mind. Because we forget to dance and rejoice, don't we? How many people here dance when they're told they have more work to do? Rejoice when they're told, here's another chore. We don't do that, do we? We have something that no one else has. As a church, as God's people, we have a blessing that other people don't think about a lot of times. It happens, but they don't have the understanding. They don't have the sight. They don't hear and see things the way we do, interpreting it through God's Word. Which leads us to the Acts of the Apostles this morning. I love the story of Saul. How many people here feel like Saul most days? I lead a church. I try really hard to stay happy, to stay focused, to rejoice over the things that are being done. Anybody here have a job? We try to rejoice in our jobs. We try to be happy with our work, right? How many people start out really happy and within 15 minutes of being at work get really irritated real quick? It's really easy to get caught up in that in our work, right? Here's Saul, who's doing his work to start with. And you have to understand, Saul was a good Roman, first off, and one of the Jews that was leading in a high position. And he's been told by the Sanhedrin, you know what? This group of rabble-rousers, okay, these people who keep talking about this Jesus guy, they're annoying us, and they're causing us problems. They're going to cause us problems with your people, the Romans, and we want them gone. So here's a piece of paper, you can do whatever you want. And Paul, which is what Saul's name becomes at the end of the story, goes out and crucifies them, terrorizes them, does everything he can to make their lives miserable because they want to follow Jesus. They want to live in that joy, in that understanding of God. So he goes out and he does these heinous things. In the process, who does God decide to make one of his disciples? Saul. So he's going down the road, and God walks up and says, "You're not getting it. You're not seeing it. You're not hearing it. You're blind. I'm going to take away your ability to get into all this other mischief for a little bit until you'll sit and listen to me. You claim to be my child as a good Hebrew, but you're doing these awful things." And he's given this vision that Ananias is going to come and take away his blindness. Anybody who's ever been ill knows what it's like to have that prayer, "Please take this away, Lord." Right? You just want it to go away. And he has a vision that God says, "I'm going to send somebody that's going to take this away." Then God goes to Ananias, says, "I want you to go down." You listen to the name of the street? Straight and narrow. Right? Isn't that what we're told? The road is straight and narrow. I want you to go to the road named Straight. And I want you to go to the house of who? What was the name used? Do you remember? Whose house? Judas. Now, we don't know which Judas it is, but it's interesting that John chose to use Judas. I want you to go to Judas's house, and I want you to go to this guy named Saul. I want you to heal him, because I've given him a vision. What does Ananias say? Whoa, time out, Lord. Wait a second here. You know who this is, right? You're not seriously asking me to be nice to him. You're not seriously going to give him an opportunity, are you? You can't do that. And God says, just go. Just go. That's not your choice. Do as I'm asking. And he goes. Paul gets his sight back. In that time of blindness, in that time of being slowed down, of having to stop all the other stuff and taking Sabbath, whether he wanted to or not, he could finally hear God. He could finally listen to the vision of what God was asking for. And now he gets his sight back. And he's excited. Anybody ever have a serious illness and come out on the other side and be better? Do you remember the excitement of suddenly being able to do the things that you were able to do before? But it's different than it was before, right? Cancer survivors know this better than anybody. You suddenly have a new taste and vision on life. Things mean a little bit more now. Paul's excited. He's got a new name, a new lease on life. God has blessed him. And he goes out. Now, I want you to stop and think about this for a second. We've got 4 Gospels by the apostles, right? Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Then you've got the book called the Acts of the Apostles. Then you've got all these letters by who? Paul. Do you know who really got the church taking off outside of Jerusalem? Paul. In fact, the disciples said, you can go preach, but I want you to go preach over there. You go over to Asia. We don't want you here. We've got this covered. So they took itty-bitty Israel. We'll cover that. You will take all of Asia Minor. And Paul goes out and does it. Anybody ever been to work where the boss looks at you and says, hey, I'll take care of this. You just get the rest of it done. And Paul does it. And not only does it, but does it with a passion. And serves with a passion and with a joy. Listen to the letters as he opens them up. I greet you with the love of God. I give thanks for you every time I hear about you. I rejoice in knowing that you are one of God's children. Every time he opens a letter, he opens it up in rejoicing in the service he's doing. Now there's work involved, right? Poor Paul was in prison. He was ill. He had some type of illness. We don't even know what it was. He refers to it as a thorn in his side that he deals with all the way along. He has people that are constantly looking at him going, yeah, but. How many teachers do I have in the room? You give an assignment. Assignment's due on Friday. You ask the child, did you do your assignment? Yeah, but. Right? How many people do that with the stuff they're given from God? You do what I asked you to do? Yeah, but not with that Saul guy. I love the rest of your children, though. Boy, I did well with the rest of your kids. But not Saul. We know about that Saul guy. Paul goes out, and he goes to people that have no idea about God. Okay? We're not talking about going to Jerusalem and converting people who already know God, because the Jewish God and our God are not different people. They're not different entities. The Jews already knew about it. The apostles were just going, hey, Jesus taught us a different way to do it. Let's try that. Anybody ever hear those words from a pastor? There's a different way to do it. Let's try that. Do you know what the 7 deadliest words in the church are? Because we have always done it that way. Might be 8. Or I miscounted somewhere along the way. It's supposed to be 7. We've. So we don't want to change anything. And Jesus always talked about change, right? So this morning, we're told to rejoice. We're told that there's going to be trials. We're told that we're called. We know we're going to get the lion's share of the work. Right? We're called to have sight and vision. We're called to dance and rejoice in all. And we get to the gospel this morning. So here's the first thing you got to know about the Gospel of John. You read the Gospel of John, you've got the Passion story, you've got the crucifixion. Somewhere in there is missing a big piece of the Passion story we're used to. Because the Passion story starts with Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. Right? What's the next thing that happens? Maundy, Thursday, we're celebrating the institution of the Lord's Supper. John skips that part. There's no institution of the Lord's Supper. We go straight into the crucifixion. The institution of the Lord's Supper comes this morning, after the resurrection. When he sends out, or when the disciples are all out fishing. He says, cast your nets over on the other side. And they do. And there's an abundance. And Jesus calls them in. And there's fish and bread. And he eats with them. It's after the resurrection for John. But it's about remembering what God, what Jesus had taught them. He's telling them to remember And they get all done eating. And he sits down with Peter, the cornerstone of the church, as Christ put it, the rock on which he would build the church. Peter, the strong one, the greatest of the apostles, as they put it in the gospel. Also the same man that denied Christ 3 times, ran, didn't want to have to deal with everything and lock the doors after the death of Jesus. The person on whom God's going to build his church. Anybody ever here deny Christ? You ever run away from the work? You ever lock that door hoping God couldn't get through it? I know he's calling me, but no, I'm not doing that. Never felt that? How about this? You ever get that poke in the side where you know you should be doing something, but you really don't want to do something, but you know you should, and then you don't, and you find out somebody else did? Because if you don't take care of it, God will find a way to make it happen. But God called you first. You denied it. I'm not doing that. Locking my door. Talks to Peter. Peter's already gone through all of this, right? He doesn't feel worthy by any means. We can relate to that, can't we? Not feeling worthy. I'm not big enough, strong enough, fast enough, smart enough. I can't do this. God doesn't call the people who can do it all. He calls a group of people together who each have talents. Some of us read. Some of us build. Some of us do finance. Some of us help support the church financially. Some of us cook, knit, quilt. Some of us get up and poke others in the side and say, hey, it helps pastor light fires under people. Did you know I'm a spiritual arsonist, by the way? That is my job. It's in the description. My job is to light a fire under all of you. To get you moving. And that's where we're at this morning. Is to light a fire. To say, you don't have to be perfect to serve God. And Jesus looks at Peter. Now you got to see the correlation here. How many times did Peter deny Jesus? 3, right? Peter, do you love me more than these? I'll ask you, folks, do you love Christ more than these? Folks, do you love Christ more than these?
Yes.
Okay, we're getting there. You kind of sound like Peter that first time, right? Why is he asking me this? I don't know that I want to answer this. There's usually a catch when Christ asks you something. That guy up front starts asking questions, somebody's going to get it. What does Jesus tell him? Feed my lambs. They sit for a while. God waits. I poked them. I lit a fire. No, they're not doing it. I'll ask you again. People, do you love Christ more than these?
Yes.
Feed my sheep. Notice the change. How many people like lambs? Lambs are fun, right? Lambs are the little babies. They're cute, they're cuddly. You hope they never grow up, right? If they just stay at that one size forever. But they grow up to be sheep. What do you know about sheep? Are they a bright animal? Are they obstinate? Do they go where you don't want them to go? Do they listen? Yeah, they actually do. The voice of the person who calls. To the master. Feed my sheep. Feed my obstinate. Feed my misguided. Feed my people. Go and do really dumb things. How many of those do I have in the room? Right? Oh, come on. You mean to tell me you guys haven't done anything stupid in the last couple weeks? That's usually my first prayer in the morning. God, so far today's gone well. Haven't sworn anything, haven't gotten upset, still kind of happy, but I'm about to get out of bed, Lord, and I know I'm going to do something stupid shortly thereafter. Please help. And God waits. I lit a little bit bigger fire this time. The fish are starting to cook. The bread is starting to bake. They can smell it. It all starts to water a little bit. People, do you love Christ more than these?
Yes.
A little irritated now?
Yeah.
He's asking again? Yeah. Why is he doing this to me? I don't want to answer. Right? Jesus says, feed my sheep. Don't just tend them, but go out and do the work of harvesting, planting, picking rock. Do the work of preparing the food. Do the work that my sheep need. Then he looks at Peter and he says something that none of us like. But I'm going to guess Lois could tell us more about what it's like than anybody else in the room. Because when you're young, you get up and you make decisions. This is what I'm doing today. When you're really young and stupid, you actually tell people, this is what I'm going to do today. You walk in, you tell the boss what you think. Not a good idea. You put your own belt on. You're master of your own universe. But when you get older, you're going to outstretch your arms. Somebody else is going to dress you, tell you what you have to eat, tell you when you're going to go where, what you're going to do, when you're going to take your medications, how you're going to take your medication, when you're going to be at your appointment. By the way, you're not good enough to be driving anymore. Stop that driving thing. Cooking? We're not sure that you should really be around anything that's got a flame. In fact, even the walking thing, would you just hold on just a little bit, Lois? Don't do so much walking. There's a little elbowing going on here. People are suddenly telling you what you're going to do. Well, now wait a second. How many of you grown folks would take me walking into your house and telling you what you're going to do and how you're going to do it? Bill, I'm going to tell you how you're going to do your woodwork from now on. Amen! Right? No, you're not. Better yet, I'm going to tell you you can't do it anymore because you know you're not as stable as you used to be and you might cut off a finger. I know that. And he's still going to do the woodwork, right? We don't like it when people come in and tell us what to do. And Jesus tells Peter, you're going to start this off this way, but eventually you're going to listen. Somebody else is going to be your leader. Now, this is the part we normally don't get. We're assuming it's going to be this relationship, where suddenly mom has to listen to the younger one. But it's not that. It's that as we get older, we get a little smarter. We start listening a little bit more. And when that fire gets lit underneath us, we get even smarter. We start looking around and going, you know what? Hey, I got something you need to do, Glenn. Hello, Lois. What do you need him to do? You got the perfect opportunity. There are 90 people sitting here. They're going to hear it. If he doesn't have it done by the afternoon, he's out of luck. So go ahead. You tell him what you need. Yeah, pull up the list. God looks at us and says, as we get stronger in our faith, here's what I need done. And we look around and we realize it's not my job to do all of it, but it's my job to find somebody who can and to light that fire. And what are Jesus' final words in the gospel this morning? Follow me. Follow me. Love my people. Love me more than these. Because if you listen to what I'm saying, and you're not listening to all these voices, things are going to happen. Get done. How many people have had an idea in church and had it brought down by naysayers? Right? It happens really easy, doesn't it? Oh, we can't do that. We don't have the money. Oh, we can't do that. There's something else going on. Oh, we can't do that. We tried that once in 1910, and it didn't work. We can't do that. We don't have enough people. I have all the people I need to minister in this town, in this corner of the world, sitting right here. I have all the money I need to run this church. You know the good news? It's right in this room. You know the bad news? It's still stuck in your wallets. Right? All the money we need to do ministry is here. All the people we need are sitting right here. And you know what we've forgotten how to do? We've already forgotten what I started this sermon off talking about, haven't we? What did I start us with? We need to... I can't dance, folks, so you're going to have to say it. Trust me, ask Tony, you do not want me to dance. I'm an 80s child. To dance and rejoice, right? To dance and rejoice in the service, in the beauty we're given around us. In the people God has placed in our lives that are so full of love. That were created through the love of God. To dance and rejoice. To celebrate all that's happening here. The ministry that happens. You know what? Finances are going to happen. Bills are going to come. But do you have any idea how much ministry we do? Have you looked around to see what happens in this building? We took in a ton of food yesterday, literally. Because we worked with the community. The Boy Scouts went out and gathered it and brought it here. That food will be distributed to people that are in need. We hold monthly dinners and fellowships so that people aren't by themselves. And we can celebrate the people around us. We hold Sunday worship so we can be fed for the week. We hold Bible studies so we can get closer to God and understand the Word a little bit better. We have a ton of ministries, including one that happened just this morning. You know what it was? How many people hear the noise in the room? Hey kids, you do me a favor and make some noise. Zach, do me a favor, yell out. What was that? Okay. We had a ministry here this morning where a bunch of kids got together to learn about God and to have fun. Did you have any fun? Mom made me come, but I had fun. We had that ministry here this morning, and there are people involved in that ministry. Did you notice who did our greeting and handed out bulletins? Those 3 young ladies, since they started in confirmation, have done more in this congregation in the last 6 months than I've seen teens do in a church in quite some time. They sing, they do that, they read. They're getting involved. They're actively rejoicing. All because they had a fire lit under them and told they had to do it. Right? You guys mind doing it? Is it hard? Is serving God difficult? No. We can do this. We can do anything God calls us to do. But first, we got to feel that fire, get excited. Then, you got to look around for the people that are going to help you do it. By the way, go outside your little group, meet somebody new, get to know somebody other than the people you normally talk to. What you're going to find is there's all sorts of really interesting, neat things about other people. Then, we got to learn to rejoice about it. We're too busy doing the whole don't let your left hand know what your right is doing. We mess that one up all the time. That wasn't about keeping everything in secret. It was about not getting too boastful about stuff. Don't hold yourself higher than somebody else. But letting people know that there's something going on here, please do. Let them know how excited you get when you do something here. Let them know what you love about church. You want to talk about ministry? You're going to bring people in doing that. You know what will bring people out real quick? How many people would have got on the Titanic if they knew it was going to sink? I gotta go to church and do more work. Finances aren't where we want them to be. Oh, the doors are going to close. Can you do me a favor? If we're going to keep up that type of attitude, if we're going to have that type of attitude, can you do me a favor and bring me all the scrap wood you've got? Because we might as well nail the door shut, right? We have what we need. But we got to dance and rejoice. You want to know why I make you guys scream all the time? Because it makes you smile. You get excitable. It's uncomfortable, though. God didn't say it was going to be comfortable, folks. It wasn't comfortable for Paul. How comfortable do you think Peter was the third time he got asked? How comfortable do you think it is to stand in front of people sometimes and have to tell them you're wrong? It's not always comfortable, but there's always something to rejoice about. See, because God will be there throughout all of it. When you call out, Lord, this is too much, I need help, something will show up. Something will brighten the day. If there's anything I've learned about ministry, it's those times that I'm ready to give up, that all of a sudden something small. Maybe it's just being asked to do a baptism. Maybe it's being asked to do a wedding. Maybe it's just having somebody shout out an answer that you never expected to come from them and go, that's the fifth commandment, from a teenager who doesn't want to listen to mom and dad most times. Maybe it's hearing that you made a difference. Or hearing something you never thought about yourself that somebody else sees. Whatever it is, dance and rejoice. Listen for that call. And then I want you to do one last thing. There's a reason John puts this after the resurrection. Because this supper isn't there to sustain us so we can go out into the work, but to remind us how God sustained us through the work. That we are the body of Christ, sustained by that love and covenant that is the blood of Christ. That power that makes people new, that holds life together, that brings life-giving oxygen, the Holy Spirit, to us. And we do it, what's that say? In remembrance of me. People, do you love Christ more than these?